more assertive, to be more confident in yourself, so that you can get the recognition that you deserve in your careers. I know how hard it can be. I've worked in the food industry my whole life. It's quite male dominated, and sometimes it's quite hard to be assertive, particularly when you come across lots of aggressive behaviour. And I hate stereotyping, but actually sometimes it's quite useful, because when I think about aggressive, I think about the feasibility meetings that I have sat in where a factory manager has been bullying, has been shouting, has been talking over people, and that is aggressive behaviour. And I think that sometimes that stops us as women being assertive because we worry that we're going to end up being dicks like that. And I'm here to tell you that there is a difference between assertive behaviour and aggressive behaviour, and that you do not have to be that dick to be aggressive. Sorry, I am a bit sweary. If you are watching this live, come and say hello. I'd like to make this as interactive as possible. If you're watching on replay, then give me a hashtag replay so that I know you've been here. And I would love to hear your thoughts and experiences around this. What I'm going to talk about today is the different types of behaviour. And if you think of it as a sliding scale, so at one end of the scale, you've got someone that's really quite a passive, not very assertive at all. And then at the other end, you've got that, it doesn't have to be a factory manager, but that arsehole that you work with that is totally aggressive, or that you have worked with in the past. And you've effectively got bullying behaviour at one end of the spectrum. The passive person is putting everybody else's needs ahead of their own. The aggressive person is putting their needs ahead of everybody else's. And assertive, which is this sweet spot in the middle, is somebody that recognises that they have needs themselves and they matter as much as everybody else's needs. So it's kind of like an equal playing field. So I guess you could think of it as a bit of a seesaw, really. Like the aggressive person really thinks that they are hierarchically more important. The passive person thinks that they are less important than everybody else. And the assertive person just thinks everybody is equal. And the differences that you will see in aggressive behaviour versus assertive behaviour and passive behaviour are things like aggressive people tend to talk over people, assertive people tend to talk and listen, and passive people tend not to talk and aren't very good at being heard. Now, I want to distinguish between passive people and introverts, because just because you're introverted does not mean that you cannot be assertive. You absolutely can be assertive. So this isn't about whether you're a quiet person or not, but it can, that it can manifest as that. A passive person is somebody that is always trying to keep the peace, worrying about everybody else's needs, that as long as the group's okay, we're fine, sort of thing, but does that to the detriment of themselves. Whereas an assertive person will be making sure things are fair for them, and for other people. An aggressive person is usually looking out for themselves. So they are often very bullying in their behaviour, whereas an assertive person will be standing up for themselves, but not to the detriment of everybody around them. And a passive person might be somebody that allows themselves to be bullied, so doesn't stand up to that bullying behaviour, which can be really hard. I've been in bullying situations in my career. I was actually bullied by a customer, which made it really, really difficult to stand up for myself. And actually, at one point, I nearly left the food industry because of it. So I'm not... if you are in that situation, I'm not saying you're in the wrong. You are never in the wrong when you are being bullied. But it's working out the ways in which you can assert yourself better that will help you to stand up to that bullying behaviour. Aggressive behaviours can often lead to somebody that's shouting, somebody that's aggressive, somebody that I remember being in a factory, coleslaw factory, and like feeling really intimidated. You know, you're in a big place with lots of big machines, but then like big burly shouting and aggression and banter that was not banter at all. You know, that can be aggressive behaviour. An assertive person will be expressing their point clearly and they will be doing that confidently. And a passive person will probably not say what they think or just not speak at all. And I think, you know, I've definitely been passive at times. And I think these behaviours can change for us all, you know, depending on the situation we're in. And I think when I was a really passive person, I used to think there was nothing wrong with that because I was putting everybody else's needs ahead of my own. That made me a nice person. I could absolutely see how an aggressive person was damaging because it damages relationships. People are scared of them. They won't talk to them. And I didn't see how that being a passive person was detrimental, but actually you're not getting your point across. You've got loads of value to share and you're not sharing it. And people tend to respect you less when you start to get a bit quiet. After I burnt out, so I was quite an assertive person. And then when I burnt out, I kind of went into my shell and I definitely didn't get as much respect after that event because I chose to be passive and not get involved. And I have no regrets because I've had to go on the journey that I've had to go on. But now I'm back to my true assertive self. Don't get me wrong, I wobble sometimes and I probably move into aggressive at home sometimes. But the thing with, if you think about being assertive, it really helps those relationships. So that passive person that isn't making it clear what they need, it can be really frustrating. And I'm just thinking, even like if you think about it in a personal situation, really annoys me when my partner like won't make a decision, like won't say what he wants for dinner. I'm suggesting things and he's like, oh, whatever you want, whatever you think. And I'm like, just make a flipping decision. So an assertive person will have a clear opinion and will stand by that opinion. And that means that the people around them will know where they stand, what they want for flipping tea, that sort of thing. And I guess, you know, I'm all about confidence and helping to build the confidence of people around me, particularly women in the food industry. And the more assertive you become, the more it builds your self-esteem. If you are somebody that's always putting your needs ahead of your own, you start believing that you're not as important as other people. So it does start to damage your self-esteem. And if you're that aggressive person, you generally are not that self-aware anyway, but you're actually damaging the self-esteem of people, all the people around you. So that's a bit of an overview of assertive versus aggressive behaviour. Now, I'm putting out a number of videos over the coming weeks about assertiveness, and the reason I'm doing that is because it's useful and I like to share free content, but also I will assertively say because I'm launching a course in January, Invisible to Valued. Some of you will have seen that I launched that previously and it is relaunching in January. You can get on the waiting list now. I will put a link up in the comments on here. So you know, if you're interested, come and join me. I'm going to do a free 3-day challenge in January as well, where I set you some exercises to help you with this feeling more valued at work, and assertiveness will definitely be part of that. So if you have got any questions, comments, reflections, anyone that's been in a workshop with me will know that's my favourite thing to say. Do come and tell me in the comments. And if you're watching this on replay, give me a hashtag replay because I would love to know that you've been here. And I will see you in my next video. Take care.